Hi, I'm Michal Bardavid. We're in Ivrea, in the city of Ivrea in Italy, and we're going to take you to a wonderful, very interesting festival. Once again, this is the Battle of the Oranges. It's a very interesting festival that's taking place in the city of Ivrea, and we're going to show you the festival and the people who are participating in it. And together with me is Marco, who is a citizen from Ivrea, and he's going to explain to us what the meaning behind all of this festival is, because it's from history. Thank you very much for joining us.
Well, my pleasure. Hello to everybody.
Okay, so I'm going to turn the camera to where the festival is right now, so you can see this is the square of Ivrea, and you can see the people who are participating in this Battle of the Oranges. Now, Marco, so tell us what is happening here on the street.
It's happening one of the, I would say, unique and more historical carnival in the world, where there are multiple eras representing the carnival. What you see here is the Orange Battle, which is probably the most recent, 60 plus years, where there is two different teams here. There is the people protecting the tyranny, which is on the cart. You can see the cart in the square with the horses, and then there is the population, which is in the ground throwing orange to them, and they throw orange in a sense of freedom toward the tyranny.
Alright, so this is basically a reenactment of an event that happened in history. So they are putting an act together of what happened during that time. So the people, as you're saying, on the chariots with the horses are representing the soldiers, and the people on the streets are representing the civilians, people who are fighting for their liberty, for their freedom. Okay.
That's exactly right.
Okay, so when did this start?
I think that they start nearly 60 years ago, and they start for a joke. So a group of friends, they start to take orange, which is a fruit that you cannot find here. It's very fancy fruit, and they start to throw orange for joke between them. And then year after year it becomes bigger and bigger until they create the first team, which is the left, which is Squadra delle Picche. Before it was called Donna di Bastoni and become Arancieri delle Picche. And then the other team get created up to the 1974, which is the last one that has been created, which is the Credendari. So there are 9 teams throwing orange in 5 different squares, and there are about more than 50 cards that represent, as you said, the chivalry protecting the tyranny. Okay,
so just to give our viewers some information in terms of the details that we're seeing, colors that are worn by the different people. Here on the right we're seeing black and white, on the left we're seeing blue and red. But just to give you a small detail, first of all, the people who do not want to be hit by oranges are wearing red hats. That's why me and my friend Marco here from the press, we're all wearing red hats. And the people who are on the streets who don't want to be participating, but just they want to observe from close up and personal, they're wearing red hats so people don't throw oranges at them. But in terms of the clothes that these people are wearing, on the left the red, on the right the black and white, tell us about that.
Yeah, so there are 9 teams that are creating groups. Arancieri della Morte on the right side and Picche on the left side. There are 9 of those, and there are 50 plus cards. So each group have their own place to throw orange. They are a group of friends basically that they get together and they become crazy to throw orange in this beautiful occasion. I just want to say that I mean, it's quite impressive the number of orange they throw. So yes, every team, they get provision 5 tons a day. The battle is 3 days, Sunday, the Monday tomorrow and Tuesday. So it's about 5 tons of orange a team during the 3 days. Multiply 9, so it's quite a heavy number of orange.
Yeah. And but people are wondering, I mean, isn't also this a big waste of fruit? I mean,
so that is also something that everybody is challenging here. So in reality, because of the European Union, there is a minimum production you can have in each country. So all these oranges that are anyway going to be destroyed because they are exceeding the number of limit of the European Union. So what we're doing here is every team buy the orange, they throw the orange, And at the end of the day, you can guess, there is a big melty 20-30 centimeter of mold. These, and they used to become, they use all of these to basically as a fertilization for the ground. So it's basically using the orange in the natural cycle, but the only things we're doing here is to make fun in the natural cycle of the orange.
Mm-hmm. And what about the participants? Are they mainly people from Ivrea, or do people from out of town also come here?
So I would say that the majority of the region here, Ivrea and the village close to Ivrea. But it's also true that a lot of them, they have a lot of friends that come also from other cities in Italy, but we have also a community of people from UK. There are people from Japan coming here to throw orange every year, so it's quite interesting. And what is interesting about all of this is the friendship. Just want to say also that, I mean, the battle is very cruel, but at the end of the battle, everybody shake the hand like friends. So it's like a really, everybody friends of each other. Of course, there are a little bit of rivalry between different cards and teams, but the spirit is anyway freedom and you know, friendship.
And I mean, you know, a lot of people have also heard of the La Tomatina, which is a food fight where they throw tomatoes. But when we're talking about oranges, I mean, these are fruit that are actually very hard and very heavy. So
yeah, I would say not very much today because it's quite warm winter. I would say almost spring, so it's about 15 to 18 degrees today. So it's not very, it's very hard. But we had also very rigid winter, so sometimes the temperature was even -2, -10. When it's -2, it's very hard.
No, like when the oranges still, I mean, they're heavy fruit, so they don't hurt?
Yeah, of course they hurt. Of course they hurt. But today less. When the orange are at -5, they are kind of very hard.
Like a rock.
That's right.
Okay. And I mean, for everybody to participate when we're talking about, you know, whoever wants to come to the square and they can just become a person who's throwing oranges?
So, yes, everybody is welcome. They just need to join a team because the orange, everybody in the team pay for the orange, and of course they get also the party, they get also, you know, a little bit of refreshment with water and vin brûlée, which is the typical things we drink in here. So everybody pay for the orange, so everybody is welcome. You just need to join a team and pay the little money to join the team, and then you will be fully enjoying to throw orange with the team.
And okay, you know, 15 minutes ago today, and it continues for about 2 hours, I believe, here today. And it's also, this is one of the squares. This is the main one. We're in the municipality building. This is the part for the press, so it's kind of safer here. But of course, there are different squares that are taking place. What about the schedule? I mean, how many? This is going on for a few days, right?
Yeah, 3 days. So it's today the first day, tomorrow, and Tuesday. The schedule is pretty much similar. So they start the orange battle around 2:30 in the afternoon, and they finish around 5:30. Depends how fast they go, I mean how fast the orange go. So until they have orange, they continue to throw. On a Tuesday, there is then the stop of the battle around 5:30, and then they basically start to define their ranking, or who is winning the carnival, which is something that everybody is really sensitive about this. And then they announce around 6 p.m. the winner on the card, the winner on the team on the square.
So there's actually quite, a winner of this whole competition at the same time. It's a festival, but they also compete with each other. Okay, that's very interesting. And what about now? There are some rituals that are taking place before the actual battle is taking place when they fight with the oranges. And it seems it's very quiet now, but I think more will be in this square, and they will continue fighting with them in just a moment. But in the meantime, before this, there was a short ritual, there was a little bit of a parade. Tell us about the rituals that take place here also.
So, I mean, what you see here is probably one of the most recent addition to the carnival. But the origin of the carnival Ivrea is back to 13th century, and there are different eras. So we are represented with the Abba, that is the oldest memory that we have in the books from 13th century. There is Muñaya. Muñaya represents against the tyranny.
Okay, and so just to give the information, the Muñaya is the woman. So she's dressed in white, and she represents what?
Yes. So she represented a very historical moment where around the medieval age, 15th century, there is a Marquess from Montferrat. There was a Montferrato area in this area. And he was applying a tradition called Iud Prime Noctis. So the lady needs to have the first night of the bride, she needs to be with the tyranny. So the tradition or the legends say that during the night she killed the tyranny and she freed the entire population from the tyranny. At that time they destroyed the castle and the castle was destroyed. The reason why she wears white, because it has been introduced in the historical carnival of Ivrea in 1858, and at the time he wearing the color of the freedom at the time, which is basically very similar to the Italian flag. White, there is a green band and the red hat.
Okay, and what about the other people? I saw some children here, I saw some people on the sides, there was a general and like...
Yeah. So the kids, they represent the different rioni. They represent the role of Abba, the historical one in the book from 13th century. There is also Generale. Generale is representing a real Generale from the Napoleonic era, where this city was under the Napoleon Emperor, and they were a general full-time here in Ivrea. So the Generale today, he represents that moment. He started officially in 1808, and they basically wearing still today the uniform of Napoleon. And you have with him 3 people that are the higher ranking of the ufficiali, of the official, which is called aiutanti di campo. They are kind of colonel, and then there is all the different ufficiali that they take part of the battle, together with Vivandiere, which is for the pleasure and the privilege to wear the uniform. In addition to them, there is a sostituto of Gran Cancelliere, which is more as a lawyer, or is a representative of the lawyer, and he have a book and is going to write on the book all the happening of every edition of the carnival. And this book, so book was from 1808.
So just to ask our viewers if they have any comments, if they have any questions, would you want to be here? Would you want to be participating in this? Does it look like fun? Does it look crazy? Does it look like something that you want to at least come and see? Tell us your opinions or your thoughts or your questions. In the meantime, I know that Marco, you also, even though you weren't one of the people throwing or you weren't on the truck, but you did participate in one of the roles. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I did ufficiale for 6 years. It was a great experience. I feel very privileged to have the honor.
What was that? Can you explain what that is?
Ufficiale is part of the Napoleon group.
Okay.
He is in basically the staff of Generale. He wears the Napoleon uniform, and he's basically, to be part of the official, the Start Major of the Carnival for the historical part.
Okay. Sounds like a very interesting experience. I mean, it's nice to see from above. I'll just tell my own experience. It looks very, I would say, passionate in a sense. It seems like they're throwing the oranges with a lot of passion, with a lot of energy. So I would not want to be there, but just to see from above, it seems like a once-in-a-lifetime scene to see, at least. It's a very interesting festival. It's different from any others that I've seen so far. So we just had the mayor of this town here with us. So he apparently left, but we will continue talking with Marco at this moment. So, the people here, it seems like they really want to destroy the soldiers, let's say, that are being represented on the carts. So just to give a little briefing, a summary of what's happening here to the viewers who've just joined us. This is the Battle of the Oranges in the Italian city of Ivrea, reenactment of a historic moment in Italy, and it's part of the culture where the people who are on these carts, on the chariots, are representing soldiers, and the oranges are representations of arrows, and the people on the streets, they're actually they're trying to win a war against these soldiers at this moment. I must say that it's kind of difficult to speak. We're experiencing from the oranges coming up in the air. The smell.
It's amazing.
It's amazing, but it's also
are carried by horse, and big respect to horses.
okay.
So
That's very important.
it's forbidden to throw orange to horses. There are oranges that are already used to do this, and everybody have a huge respect and passion for horses here. The other thing is very interesting to say is that you don't see any kids. It's basically from 14 years old, but the kids also enjoy to. They create 2 different squares dedicated to them, from kids that are age 4 until 11, 12. They go there, of course, not with the same effort or strongness of what you to throw the orange.
Yeah, I think that's also a very important point, because I think for the viewers it's also important to see that there's respect and love for the animals, because it's very sensitive out there, and it does seem like no one is throwing any oranges at the horses. They're being very careful for that. And let's talk about the city, because on the ground already it's been just half an hour, 45 minutes, and we see there's it's covered in oranges already. And in the next couple of hours, it's going to be completely pulp.
I can say that now is nothing in compare.
Really?
In a couple of hours, will be like 20 to 30 centimeters of mud. And tomorrow and Tuesday the same. So every night they clean beautifully the road. And if you walk around 9 p.m. tonight, it's beautifully clean. Of course, there is a beautiful smell of orange in all the city, which will make it very unique.
Of the city as well, that party or with anything in the background. I think that's also very important for the city, and just to show their value, the animals, and also the city itself. And what about female? We're seeing a lot of both. I think there
is absolutely no difference. Absolutely no difference between men and women. Everybody joining there, and the interesting story is that a lot of people, or most of the people, know each other. So you know the people on your cards. Maybe there, student, your professor is there, and they really throw orange very well. So I mean, and you can really fight against him. It's quite nice, and the same with the boss. But at the end of the battle, they shake freedom spirit.
So basically, like sports, in that sense, like sports, the respect that you can find.
Is the respect.
Exactly. It doesn't matter. Everyone is equal on the ground. Everyone is equal. People
That's
are throwing at each other. It doesn't matter. And okay, so people are asking us, how about dinner? I know it's difficult to decide, but
it's difficult. So what's happening is that they're quite scientific with a ranking. So there is multiple jury plus a selected number of people.
We'll pause for the announcement just a sec.
Maggiore afflusso di persone, predisposti a organizzate di circolazione per favorire il più rapido ingresso in qualunque condizione. All'interno delle gare sono installati che potranno essere usati per messaggi di sicurezza. Segnaleti di uscita delle gare e allontanamento in caso di emergenza. Nelle ore serali, oltre ai cartelli per permettere anche da lontano le vie di allontanamento, questi sono segnalati da totem luminosi che quando sono accesi indicano che la via è fruibile. Se necessario, imboccate una delle vie di allontanamento e proseguite senza in caso di affollamento, in caso di emergenza, procedete nello stesso verso del flusso. Non andate in senso inverso all'esodo e anche entrate attraversare. In caso di emergenza non è fatto tutto utile mantenendo una distanza di sicurezza dal vostro vicino. Se necessario, aiutate le persone che vi stanno vicino. Osservate finora la segnaletica che indica i percorsi d'esodo e riconoscete gli steward e il personale di organizzazione che se necessario vi indirizzerà e vi darà istruzioni. Non attaccatevi, ricordate che maggiore sarà la distanza tra le persone, più rapido e sicuro potrà essere l'allontanamento anche solo al termine della manifestazione. È sufficiente mantenere la distanza tra le persone vicine. In caso di emergenza seguite le indicazioni sonore e quelle che vi saranno fornite dagli steward e dal personale della protezione e buon carnevale.
Okay, so just to give a summary of what is happening in the city of Ivrea, what the Battle of the Oranges looks like. This is a festival that's taking place here annually in. This is part of the reenactment of an event that took place in history. The people on the chariots you're seeing soldiers. The oranges are representing arrows, and they are the people on the ground, or the people trying to win a rebellion against them. There was a whole history of it. There is a history of how it began with one woman and her trying to win her dignity, and also that from her rebellion the whole town also started this whole fight against the rebellion against tyranny, and this is their fight being reenacted with the orange place with. So we were just with Marco, my friend here, who is from Ivrea, and he's telling us all about the history, all about the details of this festival, and he was just talking to us about how they decide about. Just give us more information on that. Marco.
Yeah, so there is a jury formed by a qualified number of people, and they analyze different things to create an overall ranking. So if we take the cars, organize the image of the cars, how beautiful is the dressing of the horses. You will see there is a special dressing, each cart of a different one, and they also then rank how strong they fight with the orange. They do the same with the team on the square, so they see how beautiful is the city that with all the flag that they put. On Saturday night they also see the choreography that they do to welcome Munyaya, and of course they evaluate how strong they throw orange over the 3 days. They take the ranking and the best. I mean, is winning the carnival.
Okay. I think we're gonna end our live here. We're almost going to finish. So just to give you a summary of this festival, we were showing you the Battle of the Oranges in Ivrea. It's a very interesting festival, which is a reenactment of something that happened in history. Miguel, I'll take your cable. Okay. Thank you so much for joining us and giving us all this information, Marco.
With pleasure.
And it's very nice to see. They're here to the animals. They're respectful to the people who don't want to participate. That's why we're wearing red hats, because we don't want oranges thrown at us, just to be safe. So children are not really here in this area. They have a separate area for these children who want to be in a different part of the festival. And it's really a lot of fun that takes place over 3 days, and they have a lot of rules, but it's very respectful, it's very fun, and it takes place annually here in Ivrea.
I just want to say, I mean, it's beautiful, you need to come to see. Buon Carnevale to everybody.
Okay. Thank you very much for being with us. Thank you.